A family tonight is grieving this mother and her 10-year-old daughter, and it's this Miami woman, Leoda Bradshaw, who is accused of hiring hitmen to kill them in Jamaica.
Leoda Vanessa Bradshaw, 34 years old, petty officer in the U.S. Navy. She was charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to murder, 2 counts of conspiracy to kidnapping, 2 counts of kidnapping, 2 counts of murder.
In the heart of the Caribbean, amidst the vibrant culture and rhythmic beats of Jamaica, a story unfolded that would send shockwaves through the nation. A tale not of island paradise, but of jealousy, betrayal, and a tragic end. This is the harrowing account of 27-year-old Toshyna Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter, Sarayah Paulwell, a mother and child whose lives were abruptly and brutally taken. Welcome to Caribbean Files. I'm Nora, your guide through the intricate and often dark narratives that shape our region. Today, we go deep into a case that continues to grip Jamaica as it is still unfolding, a story of complex relationships, simmering jealousy, and a meticulously planned crime that ended in unimaginable tragedy. Jamaica, September 2023. The island, known for its sun-kissed beaches and reggae rhythms, was about to confront a story that contrasted starkly with its idyllic image. In the bustling community of Gilmore Drive, Kingston 20, lived 27-year-old Toshyna Patterson and her infant daughter, Sarayah. Their lives, seemingly ordinary, were entwined with figures of prominence and power, setting the stage for a narrative that would captivate and horrify the nation. To understand the depth of this tragedy, we must acquaint ourselves with the individuals at its center. Toshyna Patterson, a young mother devoted to her daughter, navigating the challenges of parenthood and personal relationships. Sarayah Paulwell, the innocent 10-month-old child whose life had just begun. Phillip Paulwell, a seasoned Jamaican member of parliament, father to Sarayah, and a man whose personal life would become the subject of public scrutiny. Leoda Bradshaw, a 34-year-old U.S. Navy petty officer, former partner of Paulwell, and mother to his older child. Her actions would soon place her at the heart of this dark tale. The connections between these individuals were intricate. Paulwell's relationship with Bradshaw had produced an 8-year-old daughter. However, their union had ended, and Paulwell's subsequent involvement with Patterson led to the birth of Sarayah. While Bradshaw and Patterson were not friends, their lives intersected through their relationships with Paulwell, creating a dynamic fraught with potential tensions. In early September 2023, a digital confrontation hinted at underlying tensions. Bradshaw reached out to Patterson via Facebook, asserting her position as Paulwell's spouse and expressing doubts about Sarayah's paternity. She demanded a DNA test, a request that Patterson rebuffed by blocking Bradshaw on the platform. This virtual exchange, seemingly minor, was the spark that would ignite a deadly chain of events. September 9th, 2023, began like any other. Patterson and Sarayah were at their Gilmore Drive residence when Bradshaw arrived in a tinted SUV. Surveillance footage captured Patterson willingly entering the vehicle with her daughter, a testament to the trust she perhaps placed in Bradshaw or the persuasive nature of their interaction. The vehicle departed, marking the last known sighting of mother and child alive. Concern grew rapidly among Patterson's family and friends. Her sudden disappearance was out of character, prompting immediate reporting to the authorities. The Jamaican Constabulary Force launched an investigation, piecing together the events leading up to the disappearance. Their findings were chilling. Evidence suggested that Bradshaw had traveled from the U.S. to Jamaica with a sinister purpose. Arriving on September 6th, mere days before the abduction, her movements indicated meticulous planning. Bradshaw didn't act alone. She enlisted the help of her cousin, Roland Balfour, and 2 other men, Richard Brown, known as Gorilla, and Roshane Miller, an air conditioning technician. The quartet conspired to abduct and murder Patterson and her child. On the fateful day after collecting Patterson and Sarayah, they were transported to a secluded area in East Kingston. There, both were executed and their bodies burned in an attempt to obliterate evidence.
Meanwhile, attorney Deborah Martin, who is representing Leoda Bradshaw, a petty officer in the U.S. Navy, has insisted that her client has no knowledge of the abduction of politician Phillip Paulwell's daughter and her mother. Ms. Martin said her client is standing by her statement issued shortly after the disappearance of the pair, which states that she had absolutely nothing to do with it.
In a statement issued last month, Ms. Bradshaw notes that the only interaction she's ever had with Ms. Patterson is through a brief Facebook exchange. According to Ms. Bradshaw, she received an email on September 5 advising her that Ms. Patterson had been trying to contact her on Facebook to inform her of her child with Mr. Paulwell. Ms. Bradshaw claims Mr. Paulwell had already told her about Miss Patterson and the possibility that the child was his. She said she advised Miss Patterson that she and Mr. Paulwell would ensure the child is taken care of financially and that a DNA test would be done to ensure that he is the father. Miss Bradshaw insisted that was the only time she had any interaction with Miss Patterson. She added that any reports on social media indicating otherwise are lies and will be passed on to her lawyer for action to be taken. The statement further notes, quote, "I will continue to pray for the safe return of Miss Patterson and her baby and ask anyone with information to contact the police."
Gorilla and Roshane Miller, an air conditioning technician. The quartet conspired to abduct and murder Patterson and her child. On the fateful day after collecting Patterson and Sarayah, they were transported to a secluded area in East Kingston. There, both were executed and their bodies burned in an attempt to obliterate evidence. The weight of the evidence led to swift action. Leoda Bradshaw, apprehended and charged with 2 counts each of capital murder, conspiracy to murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy to kidnap. Roland Balfour faced charges including accessory before the fact to kidnapping and murder. Richard Brown, charged with conspiracy to murder and kidnapping. Roshane Miller also faced charges related to conspiracy and misprision of felony. The arrest sent ripples through the community as the depth of the betrayal and brutality became evident. As the wheels of justice turned, the courts became the arena where the tragic narrative continued. December 2024, bail applications for Bradshaw and her co-accused were denied. The presiding judge cited the gravity of the offenses, the potential flight risk, and the possibility of witness interference as key factors in the decision. April 2025. The accused appeared via Zoom before the Home Circuit Court. The prosecution announced readiness, having gathered comprehensive forensic and cybercrime reports. A plea and case management hearing is scheduled for June 5, 2025, setting the stage for the trial. The motivations behind such a heinous act drew attention from psychological experts. Many pointed to morbid jealousy, clinically known as Othello syndrome, a delusional disorder where an individual harbors unfounded beliefs about a partner's infidelity. In Bradshaw's case, her actions suggested an obsessive fixation on Paulwell's new family dynamic, leading to extreme measures to eliminate perceived threats. The Jamaican populace grappled with a mix of grief, anger, and disbelief. The brutal nature of the crime, coupled with the involvement of individuals connected to public figures, dominated conversations. News outlets provided extensive coverage, dissecting every development and offering platforms for public discourse. Candlelight vigils were held in memory of Patterson and Sarayah, symbolizing a collective mourning and a call for justice. Questions arose about the personal lives of public officials and the potential impact on. In a courtroom revelation, Richard Brown, one of the accused, expressed remorse for his involvement. Addressing the court, he apologized to the families affected and acknowledged the gravity of his actions. Such moments highlighted the human complexities intertwined with the legal proceedings. As of April 2025, Bradshaw and her co accused remain in custody, awaiting the commencement of their trial in June. The legal process promises to be closely watched, with the nation yearning for closure and justice. The tragic case of Toshyna Patterson and her daughter Sarayah serves as a grim reminder of the depths of human jealousy and the devastating consequences it can yield. As Jamaica watches the legal proceedings unfold, there's a collective hope that justice will be served and such tragedies prevented in the future. Thanks for watching this episode of Caribbean Files. What are your thoughts on this heartbreaking case? Should the mastermind receive life in prison or face the death penalty? Leave your comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if you found this story important or eye-opening, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more true crime content, and share it with others who are drawn to forensic psychology and criminal storytelling. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious. I'm Nora. This is Caribbean Files.